Hello, hello. Happy Monday.
Morning.
You guys hear me
Morning.
okay?
Good morning.
Morning. Yep. All right. Perfect. Sweet. Well, let's everybody have a good weekend. Sweet. All right. Well, let's jump into some gratitude. Who or what are you grateful for this morning? Who wants to volunteer?
I'll go. I am
Oh,
really. Oh, can you hear me? Is it working?
hold on. Can you guys hear her talking? Because I can't.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
I
I
can
can't.
hear
I
her.
got something going on my end. Hold on.
I can hear you, Kelsey.
Go
Uh,
ahead, Kelsey.
okay, I'll keep going. I am super, super grateful that we are the hub house for all of the children and that my kids want to come to our house and hang out all weekend long. It's a little. I am grateful they want to spend time with us and involve their friends with us. So that makes me happy.
You
And
have
then
to
I'm
log
also
off and log back
grateful
on.
that.
I'll be
Oh,
back.
my toddler gets to listen to this. She just heard Brent ask for gratitude, so she's back there cheering gratitude, gratitude. So I think that's awesome.
Nice. Very cool. It is cool to be the house too. I agree. It's we've gone in spouts of that. So sometimes it goes in waves. They might not be at your house. It's okay. Hopefully they'll come back. All right. Who else has got some gratitude for today they want to share? Can you hear us,
I'm,
Brent?
I'm
I can
grateful
now.
for two good open houses this weekend and some good contacts.
Nice. Very nice. Were you sitting in other people's houses or your own?
My own.
All right. Very cool.
And I will be filming the follow-up videos.
Nice. Well, we always recommend the follow video literally the second they leave your open house, by the way. It's not too late to send it now, but don't be afraid to send it right when they leave.
What is the follow-up video, Chase?
Just a video thanking them for coming to your house. Like, hey, wanted to make sure you remember who I am. We met today. I'm so excited to get you that stuff. You know, whatever your promise is that you're going to get them. But just a reason you got to recognize it's just like someone coming on your website. You know, like someone comes on your website to look at homes, you should assume they're on 5 or 6 different websites. You should not assume they're on your website and they're only on your website. I think that's pretty silly. So same with an open house. They probably went to 5 or 6 open houses. They probably met 5 or 6 really cool people, and you're one of them. And they'll probably forget you. And the video can really, really help. So that the likelihood of that goes way down.
Yeah, the whole idea behind the video is no one else does it. That's point number one. Point number two is they're going to forget who you are when you call on Monday. You're like, hey, it's Brent. I met you at the open house on Saturday. They're going to be like, I met 6 agents.
Yeah.
Which one were you? And then you're spending time talking about, okay, remember came to the house and we talked about this and we talked about that. Instead of doing any of that, you make yourself memorable. The way you do that is the second they leave and you have a moment, you record a quick video and you send it to them via text. And I promise you, if you do not do this, if that's the one thing you change in your business today, that is a little lift, big shift. It
Yeah.
will dramatically alter the results you get in your business by doing that one thing.
And good point to tie it to the house itself, right? Because you're remember I was at the house, whatever. Like make your video like, hey, it's Chase. Remember I met you at the house, the one with the cool backyard, right? Like it just super, super simple. Cool. Anyone else dying to share some gratitude today?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share. As the newer agent, I just want to, give gratitude to as a solo new agent, to the few mentors I have within my brokerage and outside of the brokerage, taking their time to help mentor me.
Awesome, man.
I love that, man. I love that our industry is full of people willing to give back. It's one of the best parts of our industry, I think. So
Yeah, fun little like mini challenge is, think of someone you look up to at your brokerage or inside your, whatever your market, and just call them and ask them if you could learn from them, and make it easy. Don't say shadow them for a day, because don't do that. That's not going to be helpful for you either. But if you could call them and just be like, hey, I'd love to, ask some questions. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? And if they're like, oh, I'm too busy, you're like, well, what time do you wake up? You're like, I'll meet you at your time. You make it convenient for them. People love to share. So the right people do.
yeah. All right. Well, last week we went over mindset mastery. We dove deep on multiple mindset topics from Monday through Friday. Monday, we talked about fixed versus growth mindset. On Tuesday, we talked about learning-based success. And then Wednesday, breaking through limiting beliefs. That one's one of my favorites because it's the story model. It's like the story model has helped me in so many areas of my life, not just my business. And then the one thing was the 80-20 rule, and the one thing on Thursday. And then Friday, we talked about North Star Blueprint. So curious, did anybody take anything away from last week that you feel is going to make a direct impact on your life or business that wants to share? Any ahas, any light bulb moments, takeaways? And just as a reminder, before anybody does share, when you share, I guarantee you're going to say something that in a way that we didn't think about it or present it, and somebody else didn't think about it that way, and you're going to help them get even more out of the content. So sharing is caring.
Who took action from last week on anything?
Nobody's had their coffee yet this morning.
The
Well,
narrows
I
got
Were you going to share, De Niro?
I was sad I missed Friday, but I did in the 4 days. I got 3 pages of notes, which was amazing. I didn't. This weekend was a lot going on, so I didn't put anything into action last weekend. But I'm definitely going to start using the story model in some of my, like educational videos. So start giving some examples, uh, as well as, information that is, good for people to have. So
Love that. You know what that reminds me of, Chase, is the thing you actually taught it in the learning-based segment, which is the ACT.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got how many pages of notes? How many pages of notes did you say, De Niro? 4, 3,
three or four.
3. It's gonna make me feel better to say 4. You got 4 pages of. No, I'm kidding.
Round up.
So you got 3 pages of notes, and what Chase teaches is this model called ACT, and if you remember it, it's A is action, C is change, T is teach. Meaning you can go through the margin of all your notes and you can be like, go identify the few things that you want to take action on. Go identify the few things that you want to change in your life or your business. And then go identify the things that you want to teach. Like you just said, like, hey, this story model, this is something that I want to teach. By the way, teaching the story model, you want to talk about mastering it and implementing it in your life, teach it. It will definitely improve your operating system for sure. So
I love the ACT model when he did talk about it, because when I was teaching, all of my students was, when you take notes, you have to annotate. When you're reading a book, annotate. You bought the book, write everything down so you have that second chance of remembering. And then when y'all said, I can't remember exactly, it's somewhere in these notes where you said like you only retain so much when we're talking about,
Yeah.
Going to audiobooks.
25%. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was great too. So those are my main takeaways outside of all the wonderful stuff that, y'all taught us last week.
just to reiterate, Chase, what was the 25% just for anybody that wasn't on the call or just to remind people of that?
Well, human beings speak at around 100 words per minute, but we can listen at around 300 to 400 words per minute. So The problem is that space where our brain is not active we start to do other things because we're bored, right? So every one of you is at a different meeting right now, every single one of you. You're all hearing different things. Certain things are speaking to you, certain things are not. You know, some of you are thinking about what you're cooking for dinner tonight, and you know, did your kid take their lunch to school or whatever? Like all sorts of stuff's going through your heads. Like, oh, who do I need to call today? That's what ends up happening. And so when you recognize that, it's one of the reasons, Brent, why we teach the same stuff over and over and over and over again, because you know, one of my mentors used to say, like, you don't really get it until you've learned it or heard it the seventh time. And it's like, okay, 4 times you finally got 100% of the info, and then 7 times you finally heard it enough to make it stick. So, and if you really want to, you know, I'll have to go look up the exact quote, but essentially what it was saying is like the people who are crushing it, they're not listening and taking notes. They do that, but then they actually implement. And you've got to implement, guys. So when we're asking, like, did you do anything with the information you heard? I mean, a lot of you were typing like, oh my God, this is the best one we've ever been to, or the best thing I've ever heard. It's like, awesome. So how are you going to make that the best thing that ever happened to you? Or how are you going to make it the best thing that, you know, you've applied to your relationships or your business or your family? So just always be thinking, how can I apply this? I mean, that is the difference between average and you know, great is application.
Which, small caveat, that doesn't mean apply everything.
No, but you need to. There's no point in coming if you're not applying, right?
Yeah,
You need
I
to
agree.
apply something.
I agree. Yep.
So, and what Brent's saying is don't try and do everything.
Correct.
So, cool. You ready to dive into today?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. So we're going to be talking market data. We've got you know, some industry slides, and we're just going to go high level. You guys feel free to interrupt, ask questions, stop us, ask what that means. But I'm going to start with home sales annually, and I'm just going to kind of go through some data points that we have. So here we go. All right, got to move you guys over here so I can see. Okay, I have no idea where you're at now, but I'm just going to trust that there's people out there.
We're here and I can see it. And I can see you.
Perfect. Now I got you over there. All right, so we're looking at home sales annually. Just going to kind of take a peek at the history. You know, I got started in 2005. Not a bad year, right? Like everyone's selling real estate. By the way, I got started in 2005, but it wasn't because a lot of homes were selling. It was literally just by luck. Like someone's like, we should go get real estate licenses. And I was so fed up with my job. I was like, okay, what's that? Of course, you know, the following years were pretty tough. So this is, you know, if it ever feels like I'm being tough on you, this is because of this has shaped my real estate career these first 5 years in the business. And I know some of you started around the same time.
I started selling mortgages in 2007.
Yeah, so you're right in the
Perfect
depths
time to sell mortgages.
Yeah, so some key things, like this is just annual home sales in millions. Now, by the way, each one of these represents a side, you know. So when you see 7.1 million sales in 2006 or 5, excuse me, that's 14.2 million sides. So there's a buyer and a seller, right? And roughly 92% of these have a real estate agent involved. So you can see it goes down. It takes this 4-year window, and it's like we're down 2.4 million sales in 4 years. That's effectively what ended up happening there. And then you kind of look at it, we bottomed out and nationally in the like 2010, 2011 area. And we just kind of slowly were grinding upward. You know, there was nothing crazy going on from 2013 to really 19. You know, rates were really low. They would go up and down between 3 and 4.5%. I think a lot of people back then took for granted how cheap money was and also how cheap real estate was. And I'll show you, I think that slide might be coming up in a second, but I'll show you the price slide and you guys see what I'm talking about. But I want to fast forward to, you know, through COVID, and then you can see the interest rates are going up massively here. And of course, the amount of sales volumes going down. And a lot of that has to do with people having lower rates and not wanting to move. And then, of course, some people not wanting to buy with higher rates. And so that's driving a lot of this. I would say that's probably like the overwhelming majority, Brent, of why we're having less home sales.
Do you know what I think of though when I see this?
What's that?
Is there's still 4.1, 4.06, and 4.807 million sales.
Yeah.
There's still sales. That's
Yeah.
what I see.
Yeah, and you know what? Realtors fall off too, right? And so the greatest time to make money in real estate, honestly, even though there was less home sales in this time frame, there was way less realtors. The amount of sales per realtor. I don't think we have that slide, unfortunately.
I'm actually looking it up right now with my AI to see
Okay.
how many agents there were in those different periods between '06 through
Yeah,
'09 and
it
then
was
21 through 24.
this was like the depths. This was the depths. I think the annual, like National Association of Realtors was probably in like the 700,000 range. I know locally here in Idaho, we peaked around 6,500 in 2005 and 6, and we were down to like 15 to 1,800 agents in 2010 or 11. So even though we had, half the sales or slightly more than half the sales, we had a quarter of the agents.
So that
and
means
prices
per
were low.
deal, per
Units.
agent closing was higher on
Yeah,
average.
the average amount of units per agent was higher.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's happened somewhat. And part of the reason we haven't seen a massive fall off in agents, Brent, is because there's still a massive amount of income to be made. And that's because prices are holding steady. Prices have gone up tremendously, which we'll see here in a second. So this is 2025. This is the annual home sales we had for just over 4 million. So you can see, we bottomed out in essentially 24. It's been flat, 23, 24, 25. 26 right now, we're pacing 4.17 million through May. So obviously this data is a little old. We usually get it a couple months late. The new data should be out for June here very shortly, but we're going to be in that 4.2 million annual home sales. And then you can see that seasonal income cycle. We see more sales close in May, June, July, August, typically nationally. Some markets are different. I mean, I know in Arizona, their peak season is typically in the winter. They sell a lot more homes in the winter than they do in the summer, right? Not a lot of people want to buy homes when it's 120 degrees out.
But what that's actually saying is when you're looking at this data and you're seeing that May is up from April, there's some seasonality to that as well nationally.
Yeah,
that's what it's
could be.
telling us.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Yeah, so you can see, like, go back to 23, it was 4 million, 4.55, 4.43, 4.29, 4.3, 4.16. Now, by the way, rates were going up as that's happening in 23. So I guess 24 might be a better number, but they don't have numbers above them, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, seasonally, you're going to have more income. Now, here's home prices. This is interesting. When you go back and think about back to this slide and you think about the amount of home sales, there's less home sales. I was telling you there wasn't a lot going on. It's like hindsight's 2020, but look at this trend, this 4% trend line. And a lot of you have seen this before, but this 4% trend line is basically assuming that real estate appreciates at 4% per year, which it has historically. This is where pricing should be at. And you can see we were 21% over that trend line in 2006 when the market flipped, right? And for those of you that don't know, maybe you're younger or whatever, this is a great financial recession, the Great Recession, if you will. I mean, prices came down dramatically. It's funny because I was in the Boise market, and this shows 222 to 172. I would say in the Ada County, for those, I know we have quite a few agents in the Boise area. Like our average price is probably like 275, and we were down to like 160. So it was a more dramatic drop off locally here, at least in Idaho. Those hotter markets, so Phoenix, Vegas, Boise, They saw some really sharp fall offs, but they also had these massive ramp ups too. But just look at that gap, right? And if this gap actually goes down and becomes a gap again, right now it's above the trend. You know, we were much higher above the trend in 2023, 22 and 23. But we're, you know, I think we were like 13 or 14% back here. And so now we're back to 7% above the trend line. You know, it's not looking that out of control.
Well, no, Chase, all it takes is a couple of years where, you know, prices go up, flatline or go up 1 or 2%.
Yep.
A couple of years of that, and we're at the trend line. So, you know, this conversation around, you know, we're way inflated, housing prices are way high. It might feel like that, but the reality is what happened between 2020 and 2021 was dramatic.
Yeah.
It threw us over the line, but we were below the line. So it
Yeah, I mean, that's a
feels
20% increase.
yeah, it feels
nationally.
dramatic. It feels really dramatic, especially if you stack it year after year, which is what happened there. But when you look at the 4% inflation line or appreciation line, sorry, you look at that long-term average, I mean, we're 2 years away from being at that average.
The
Unless
other
some
thing,
kind of crazy price increase happens, which, you know, is unforeseen, but also not really expected.
you know, the other thing that's kind of crazy, Brent, is like once prices go up, it's really hard for them to come down. I mean, this took a freaking national disaster, a financial crisis to bring real estate prices down. It does. I'm not saying that couldn't happen again, and no one knows. I mean, it certainly could. But I'm just telling you, like, look at this. We had interest rates went up the fastest they've ever gone in the history of the Federal Reserve, and prices didn't even come down. So it just takes a ton to move pricing down. So how would I utilize that information? You know, if someone's panicking and they're like, man, I'm afraid to buy a home because I don't want to, you know, lose a bunch of value and you know, lose a bunch of money. And it's like, okay, well, when we know the alternatives are like you're gonna own a home and pay a mortgage, and every time you make a payment, you're actually, you know, paying down some equity. You're also locking in the price for, you know, essentially forever, and you're locking in the rate and payment forever. The alternative to that is you rent a house or rent a place or whatever, and you don't lock in any price, you don't lock in any payment. You know, in fact,
You don't create any equity with
yeah,
your
there's zero equity, right? Someone rents for 20 years, they have nothing. So those are, you know, those are the two options. And when you know those options and their only fear is they're gonna see pricing come down, the reality is that could happen. It could happen. It's just really, 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 really rare. So,
Well, Chase, this is you guys as real estate agents, right? Like I've had, you know, I don't want to say I've been in debates, but I've been in heated conversations with people around real estate agents, you know, recommending that people buy, right? And that they are just chasing a commission or that they're not actually thinking about the best interest of a particular client. But here's the truth, and you can live by this. You can take this to the bank. And we have historical data here to back this claim up. If you have a good enough reason to buy and you can afford it, it is always a good time to buy real estate. So if those two caveats are met, you can feel confident that guiding someone to purchase real estate is a good thing and it is in their best interest. And we have the data here to back it up. Yes, it can go down. And the likelihood of it going down is I mean, you need a seismic event for it to go down. Flat is probably more realistic.
well, yeah. And Brent, evidenced by that, I'll just use my 21 years being in the business. Like I can tell you right now, in 2006 and 7, I built a home in 07. There was no one saying the market's going to crash. Everyone who says they knew it was going to crash, I never met him.
The one person who said it wrote a book and got famous.
Yeah. But I can tell you right now, like everyone was like, hell yeah, let's buy and let's go. And then you know this is what's the most funny, Brent. I go back to 2011. People weren't buying stuff. They're like, no, market's still falling. I'm going to wait for it to hit the bottom. And I'm like, okay, dude, I was humbled at that point. I'm like, you might be right. I have no idea how much lower it can go, but like they're going to have to start paying us to take the real estate. And I'll never forget, even in 2013, I had this piece of real estate downtown Meridian, Idaho. It was listed for $60,000 on the corner of a major road in downtown Meridian, Idaho.
Which just so happens to, it's now right across the street from City Hall. Like great location.
Yeah, a block away. Yep. And I bring that one up because I tried to sell that to all my investors. I had 7 investors I called. Every one of them were like, meh, it's not a good deal, blah, blah, blah. And finally I was kind of bitching to a friend of mine. I'm like, dude, no one wants to buy this thing. And he's like, why don't we buy it? And I was like, I never thought of that. So I bought it. I bought it for $47,500. And with a partner, because I was nervous. I was nervous too. I was nervous. Like no one knows anything. So just, that's all I'm saying is like, and I remember back in 2019, 2018, we had multiple clients who were like, I'm taking my chips off the table, selling my house, going to put the money in the bank. I'm not going to do what I did in 06, where I thought real estate was going to go up forever. I'm going to let the market crash, and then I'm going to buy again. And that was this point, 272. And what happened? Real estate's almost doubled since they sold and put their equity in the bank. So, I mean, that was not the right decision, clearly, but no one knew. And, I guess I just bring that up. I don't want to like sit on this forever, but I know
I think as real estate agents, this point should hit home, and you should carry it around with you, which is what I started with. If they have a good enough reason and they can afford it, like there should be no fear in the market.
Yeah.
To enter it.
Yeah, buy with confidence, because timing the market is a fool's errand, right? Like those people that sold and put their chips off the table and we're going to go back and buy at a discount. Like I don't know if the discount's coming, but it hasn't in the last 7 or 8 years. So,
well, and then people that bought in 06 and just decided to hold on to their properties and they own it today, like they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and Ty's right. So she's like, am I reading this right? It took 10 years to recover. Yeah, the greatest drop in real estate history was wiped out 10 years later. That's correct. And
if you take out the recession, if you take out this Great Recession and you look at the history of home sales in the United States, there's only been 1 year where home prices have gone down more than like 2 years in a row. There's only been one time that's happened in the history when you take the recession out.
Yeah, it just
crazy.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we should, just open this up and just see what everyone's feeling. What are you guys hearing? I know I plan on going over like 8 slides. We went over, I think, 2. So sorry about that. But I think it's important. It's important stuff. So what are you guys hearing? What's going through your heads?
This goes back to what Brent said 2 weeks ago. That when we have that negative propaganda out there about real estate, like this story, being able to tell this story to confident, or maybe not confident buyers, but buyers that can buy right now, or sellers that can sell right now, it's the perfect way to get around that, oh, interest rates are super high and all that jazz that's going on, even though interest rates are average. So
yeah. Wait, we'll get to the interest rates maybe next week. I'll show that slide. What do you think, Claudia? Oh, I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. She's waving.
Yeah, she's like, hold on. She's got her little hack here to make it work. Anybody else while she gets her audio going?
Mike.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, when you look at that chart and you look at that huge decline, like Ty pointed out, and you recovered in 8, 9 years, and what Brent mentioned, there's really only been 6 years in history that real estate has gone down nationally, and 5 of them were in one block, from like 08 to 11. You can definitively say that over the long term, real estate will always appreciate. Like it's a definitive statement that you cannot argue. Over the long term, short term, anything can happen. Long term always goes up.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to the inventory. I think we'll do that next week. But there still is a shortage of homes. So And I was even thinking, I'm like, okay, black swan, what's the thing we're not thinking of? Maybe AI and robots figure out a way to build homes super cheap, and they invent some new material that's really cheap, like, sand makes silica, makes computer parts or whatever. Maybe that's what happens. But even then, like, dirt, I don't know. AI is not going to invent new dirt, unless people start doing Ready Player One and we live in some other world. But it's still looking pretty good for real estate, would be my guess. Claudia, can we hear you now?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say, like, I think data is like the hard truth, and there's no denying that. So it's like whatever anyone's reservation is, when you look at that data and you present that to them, that's so like doesn't lie. It's solid. It's such a good tool to
Yeah,
have and to
it
know.
removes the emotion, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and anytime you can remove the emotion to make a financial decision, I think that's in your best interest.
And just a little hack, guys. You could probably do this. I haven't done it, but I just using AI. I know it's probably possible. You could probably get into Claude, go to Fable as the model, and you could probably say, "Hey, go to NAR and get the national home sales for the last since '91, and give me a graph with a 4% average long-term trend line." You could probably have a graph built in 30 seconds if you wanted to build something to have it presented. If you don't want to do that, Chase, we probably could put that together and have the like our own graph that we could put into the assets that you guys could use. So
Yeah.
and keep it updated.
Well, I know we're over on time. That was fun for me. I hope you guys learned something. I always love nerding out on the data. So we'll start picking slides apart like this over the next month or so. We'll try and get through all the pertinent ones. So
Sweet. All right, guys. We'll see you in the morning.
have a great day.
Thank you.